Hello all. Today we are going to discuss about environmental auditing. Before discussing about environmental auditing, first we should understand that in this term, environment means the physical or natural environment in which a business functions, and it is not the business environment. Because until now we were discussing about business environment, so please don't get confused with these terms. Here environment means the natural environment. So before discussing about environmental audit, first we should understand that each and every industrial activity will have an impact on the environment in which it is functioning. So all the businesses or all the organizations will affect the environment. So this environmental auditing aims to understand the impact of this business activity on environment. So now let's see what is environmental audit. Environmental audit is an environmental management tool which measures the impact of industrial activity on the environment against set standards and criteria. So, environmental audit try to measure the impact of the business activity on environment against some particular criteria. That may be a regulation or a rule set by the government, or a best practice that is being followed in the industry, anything. It can be anything. So environmental audit is a management tool used for what? Used for measuring the impact of industrial activity, measuring the impact of a business activity in its environment. This environmental audit is performed to ensure that businesses and organizations are complying with the environmental policies. So, one of the main purpose of conducting environmental audit is that to check whether the business organization is complying with the environmental policy. Check the compliance of the business with the rules and regulations regarding the environment. Then next thing is it examines the amount of harm posed by the organization. That is, it will check the impact of the business activities on environment. So it will try to understand how much harm does this activity cause to the environment. Maybe in the form of air pollution, or it may be in the form of water pollution. So how much harm is this particular activity, a particular business activity causes to the environment? Then it also determines the types of pollutions caused by the activities and procedures of the organization. So some particular industry, some particular company may be causing water pollution. It may not be causing any air pollution, whereas some other industry, some other company may be causing air pollution. So likewise, different companies will be causing different types of pollution. So this particular environmental audit try to understand the type of pollution and the extent of pollution that the company causes to the environment. Then the environmental audit determine what measures need to be installed to ensure compliance. That is, it tries to understand what measures are to be taken to ensure that the company is following the rules or it is complying with the environmental policies. That is, when during the environmental audit, if it finds that the company is not complying with the environmental policies, then after environmental audit, it will suggest what all measures are to be taken in order to rectify the issues. That is to make sure that now the company is following the rules and regulations regarding the environment. So I hope you understood what is environmental audit. So environmental audit is a tool used for measuring the impact of industrial activity on environment. Now let's see what is the definition of environmental audit. Environmental audit is a management tool comprising systematic, documented, periodic, and objective evaluation of how well environmental organizations, management, and equipment are performing with the aim of helping to safeguard the environment. This is a definition given by the International Chamber of Commerce in 1989. So in this definition, it says that it's a management tool. For what? For the evaluation of how well an organization or an equipment is performing in safeguarding the environment. Okay, so another definition for environmental audit is put forward by Confederation of British Industry in 1999. According to Confederation of British Industry, environmental audit is the systematic examination of the interaction between any business operation and its surrounding. So it is the examination of the interaction of business operation, any business activity with its surrounding environment. That is the definition provided by the Confederation of British Industry. So when we say the interaction between the business operation and its surroundings, it can be any kind of pollution like air pollution or water pollution or anything like that. So any interaction between the business activity and its surroundings. The systematic examination of such an interaction is termed as environmental audit. So these are some of the definitions for environmental audit. So next is, what are the objectives of environmental audit? First one is verifying compliance. One of the primary purposes of environmental audit is to verify the compliance of the business activity or of the business with the local, national and international standards, or with the best available techniques, or maybe just the company's own internal standards or its own environmental policy. That is, the environmental audit verifies that whether the company is following or whether the company is in compliance with the standards. Those standards may be set by the international organizations or any national body or a local government or anything. So such standards are being observed or not. The environmental audit checks that. Or it may be even the internal policies set by the organization. That is, the company itself has decided that its an environmental policy should be like this, or it should not emit more than this much quantity of waste, or such things. The company may be having some kind of environmental policy. So in environmental audit, it will check whether such policies are being followed or not. Second one is identifying problems. That is, the environmental audit aims to identify or detect whether there is any leakage, any spill or any such problems in its operation or in its process. So that the purpose is, if it is able to identify such issues at a very early stage, then it can reduce the risk that can happen in the future. Okay, that is, in an environmental audit, it will check whether there is any issue, whether there is any leakage, whether there is any kind of issue in its operation. If it is able to identify such problems, it can rectify it at a very early stage. That is, before that problem becomes a bigger issue, the company can resolve it. And so it will be beneficial for the company itself. Then the third point is formulating environmental policy. That is, ideally, even before conducting the environmental audit, the company should set its own environmental policy. But in some cases, it may not have set. The company may not have set its environmental policy. In such cases, the output or the results from the environmental audit can be used for formulating the organization's environmental policy. Or if the company is already having an environmental policy, then after the environmental audit, it can understand what are the issues with its environmental policy, or is there any deficiency with its environmental policy. If it identifies such a problem with its own policy, then it can modify or update its policy. Then next point is measuring environmental impact. This environmental audit should measure the environmental impact of each and every process or operation that is being carried out in the organization. That is, it may be a process related to air or water or soil, or maybe regarding the production safety, or maybe a process that affects the society as a whole. So let it be anything, each and every process or each and every operation that is being carried out in the company, the environmental audit should measure the impact of such processes. Okay. Then next point is measuring performance. That is, the environmental audit will give a measure of the organization's environmental performance. Here, performance means the environmental performance, not the economic performance, or it is not talking about the economic benefit or the profit it is making, but it is talking about the environmental performance of the organization. That is, the environmental audit will be comparing the performance of the organization with the best practices. Thus, it will help the management know where their own organization stands with regard to the environmental performance. Okay, how well the organization is performing in terms of environmental matters. Okay, that is measuring performance, measuring environmental performance. Next is confirming environmental management system effectiveness. That is, this environmental audit is the core to the environmental management system of a company. That is, every company will have an environmental management system to ensure the environmental performance of a business. So, for that, environmental audit is the core part, and this environmental audit will tell us how effective this particular system is, and it will tell us how we can improve the system, what steps we have to take to improve this particular system. And next is providing a database for corrective action and future plans. That is, the environmental audit will identify the areas where we have to take measures to reduce the wastage, or to optimize the raw material consumption, or to reduce the energy consumption, or such things. That is, it will identify where all we lack, or where all we are not up to the mark, and it will tell us how to improve, how to correct our actions, how to correct our processes, so that we can improve the environmental performance of the company. Next is developing the company's environmental strategy. That is, the result of the audit will enable the management to develop its environmental strategy so that it can move towards a greener corporate culture. Okay, it can better itself. How it can better itself? Then the last point is communication. That is, the reports of the audit or environmental audit results will communicate how well the company performs in environmental matters to the public as well as to the regulating agencies. So, the environmental audit results will be put forward as a report, and it will communicate to all the stakeholders how well the company performs in. So now let's see the implementation of environmental audit or the process of environmental audit. In environmental audit, there are three stages or three phases. That is, the environmental audit involves gathering information, then analyzing that information, then making judgment regarding the environmental performance of the organization, and actually the judgment can be made based on the information that is being collected, and also based on the environmental legislations and standards set by any agency, maybe government or any other agency. So it is based on the standard and the information that we obtain through the environmental audit. The environmental audit team will reach a conclusion, or they'll make a judgment regarding the environmental performance of the organization. Once this environmental audit is conducted, the results of the audit as well as the recommendations of the audit team will be forwarded to the top management or the senior management of the company. So, when we consider all these things, we understand that there is a considerable amount of preparatory work for carrying out this particular audit. That is, before doing this audit, there are some work that are to be done, and also after the audit, after the completion of the audit, the team have to do some work in order to give the proper report, a comprehensive report to the top management. So, considering that, we understand that there are three phases for a environmental audit. First phase is pre-audit stage. So, in pre-audit stage, information is being collected. Then the second phase or the second stage is on-site audit or the audit stage. Here, the activity at site pertaining to evaluation of information collected. It is the on-site activities that come under this particular stage. Then the third phase is post-audit phase. Post-audit phase means here the information is being collected, the evaluation is being done. So now the team will draw conclusions and they'll identify the areas where improvement is required. They'll formulate their suggestions and strategies that are to be given to the top management. So these are the three stages of environmental audit. Now let's see each stage in detail. So this is the figure that shows the different stages of environmental audit. That is, in pre-audit stage, we have 4 steps. That is, plan the scope of the audit. First step. That is, first what we have to do is, we have to, or the company have to decide or plan the nature and scope of the audit. And it should provide a framework for setting the goals and objectives of the of conducting this particular environmental audit. Thus, a framework for an environmental audit program with clearly defined procedures will be developed in this particular step. Then the second step is select audit team. That is, the members of the audit team will be selected. They will be selected based on their expertise in the environmental matters and their knowledge in the industry. That is, their knowledge in regarding the particular industry in which that particular company is working. Okay, so now we are going to conduct an environmental audit in a company. So that company will be working, or that company is a part of an industry, and this audit team members should have good knowledge regarding that particular industry. So based on this, the team members will be selected. Then the next step is industry analysis. That is, before the audit or before conducting audit, the members should have a good understanding regarding the industry as well as the company which is going to be audited. For that, the team may submit a questionnaire to the top management, and they'll get information regarding the equipments used in the company, regarding the location, the geographical area where the company is situated. All such details will be connected by the team by giving a questionnaire, by distributing a questionnaire to the senior management. And also they'll clearly define the total time allocated for conducting the audit. So that is the third step. And then the fourth step is involve the workforce. That is, the questionnaires will also be distributed to a representative sample of the workforce. That is, a small number of people from the workforce will also get this particular questionnaire, asking them about the major issues, key issues. Okay, so such questionnaires will be distributed to a few number of people in the workforce. So these are the 4 steps that come under pre-audit stage. That is, those activities which are performed before audit. Then the next stage is audit stage or on-site audit. In this stage, the first step is inspect records. In this step, an inspection of the records kept by the company, that is the certificates of compliance or discharge consents or anything, it can be anything like licenses, all such records will be inspected by the team, that is audit team. Then next is examine company policy. That is the examination of the environmental policy of the company. The company's own policy will be examined. Okay, so the company will have an environmental policy, and this team will first examine the policy of the company. The company may be having a policy for example, at the event of a spill, how it should respond. At the event of an accident, if an accident occurs, how it should act. So for such things, the company will be having a policy. So this audit team will examine the policy of the company. Then the next step is examine lines of management. That is, examine lines of management and responsibility. There is the facilities of internal management system will be understood, or the team will try to understand the facilities of the internal management system and how effective it is. The audit team will try to examine this. Okay. Then the next step is interview selected staff. That is, a confidential interview will be conducted to a few number of employees. A few number of staff will be selected from all levels of the operation. Okay, from different levels of the operation, a few staff will be selected, and a confidential interview will be conducted with these staff with a view to collect information. Particularly regarding the effectiveness of the systems like waste management system and all. Okay, so regarding such things, a very confidential interview will be conducted with the staff from different areas of operation, levels of management. Okay. Then, next step is physical inspection. That is a physical inspection of the plant, the working practices of the company, the office management of the company. All these things will be physically inspected by the team, by the audit team. So these are the steps involved in audit stage. The next is post-audit stage. In post-audit stage, the final stage, there are 3 steps. The first one is evaluate findings. The audit team will meet and they'll discuss about the findings. Okay, they have got some findings from the audit stage, and they'll meet up and discuss regarding these findings, and they'll check whether they have proper evidence supporting their findings, and they'll make sure that their findings are justifiable. So that is a 10th step. That is the first step of post-audit stage, evaluate findings. Then coming to the second step of post-audit stage, report findings. In this step, the audit findings will be in written. That is, it will be in a written format. It will be made into a written format, and the audit team will have a discussion with the management of the company, and they'll make sure that there is no misinterpretations, there is nothing that is wrongly interpreted, wrongly written in their report. They'll discuss everything, all their findings and all their suggestions with the management of the company, and thus the management of that particular company will be given information regarding their compliance status, as well as the recommendations of the audit committee for improving the environmental performance of the company. Then the last step of environmental audits, that is prepare action plan. In this step, uh, action plan will be formulated in order to address the issues pointed out in the environmental audit report. And in this step, assignment of responsibilities for corrective measures will also be done. And also, they'll determine the proper solutions and will establish schedules for implementing these solutions. They'll have a timetable for implementing the solutions. And also, in this step, they'll recommend for a for a future audit. That is, they'll decide on the next environmental audit. That can also be done in this particular step. So with this, we come to the end of environmental audit. So environmental audit has got 3 stages. First one is pre-audit stage, second one is audit stage, and third one is post-audit stage. So in pre-audit stage, information was collected. Then in audit stage, evaluation of that information was done. That is, they'll move on to the physical location and will inspect everything and make sure, or they'll evaluate the environmental performance. And all in the last step, that is post-audit stage, all the findings that they got in the audit stage will be discussed, finalized, make sure they have proper evidence, and will report it to the management of the company, and the company will take proper action in order to correct their mistakes. So that is how environmental audit happens in a company. So these are the major aspects of environmental audit. So with this, we have come to the end of this particular topic. So thank you. You should go through environmental audit, understand the objectives. I've already discussed the objectives and process. You have to understand the advantages or the benefits of environmental audit, which is almost the same as objectives. Then the challenges faced by a company while doing environmental audit. All these have to be understood. Thank you.